This video is just a general learning and example of some things I've been working on lately. So this is a 6mm 2-flute carbide end mill going through 10mm of aluminium. Got a fair amount of chatter there. This is dry cutting. I have a Makita router as the spindle and I don't want to go splashing coolant around much. So what are we doing wrong here? Probably not enough load on the tool. I could probably do with a more aggressive cut. We're now roughing out a hexagonal pocket in the top. The big mistake here was using constant velocity in the cutting strategy. So what constant velocity does is it tries its best to get from endpoint to endpoint, and if that means it needs to cut a corner by doing a bit of an arc rather than a straight line, it does so. With an internal pocket, like a hexagonal pocket, it almost turned it into a circle. So that wasn't terribly good for the finishing pass to come along and clean up leftovers. You can see that it's not looking very hexagonal at all. So that's a lesson learned. One good thing that I did do with the finishing strategy of this was to do what's called a corner overcut or a dog bone cut on the corners. And when you do that, the tool will plunge in. It's 180 degrees of radial engagement on the tool. So for that specific overcut part just there, you'll see when it gets to each corner, it's got like full width load on the tool. So I dropped the speed down to 50mm a minute for that particular part, and the rest of that is at 300mm per minute. A recent trick that I've learned is to do your spring pass starting from a different location to your finishing pass. That way when you have tangential lead-ins and lead-outs, they don't overlap on each other, so you get a better averaging and a better hiding of those lead-in, lead-out marks. With the finishing pass, there's no need to slow down in the dog bone, with the spring pass. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with it. I did a finish pass on the main bore after doing the hexagonal pocket. I was just thinking that there could have been a bit of a burr kicked up on the edge from the hex. I didn't see any during the process, but I figured the order of those two particular operations is easy enough to change. And once more with the spring pass, I start at a different location. Anyway, hope you found that interesting. Hope you learned something. I'm always learning things. This is not necessarily a good example of what to do, but more just an example of how to keep learning.